YouTube 订阅教学，教你如何订阅金菩提宗师 YouTube 频道。订阅金菩提宗师 YouTube， 能及时收到影片发布及直播通知。一起来学习怎么操作吧。第一步，下载 YouTube 应用。
So step 1 is to download YouTube app. If it's an Apple cell phone, then go to App Store, search for YouTube, and then click on Install. The second step is to register a YouTube account. Go to YouTube, the app, and then register an account, your personal account, your name, birthday, gender, and then continue. And then you need a Gmail address. Put your Gmail address there. And then your password. Confirm the password and then continue. Your phone number. When you receive the verification code, use that verification code to verify. No, it's all done. The account is registered. Now the third step is to subscribe to Grandmaster JinBodhi's YouTube channel. In YouTube, you search Grandmaster JinBodhi English and choose the right channel. Once you get into this channel, you'll see all the wonderful teachings of Grandmaster JinBodhi and all the live feed records. Remember to click on subscribe and notification for all so that you will receive all kinds of notifications. The fourth step, if you click on one video and click on the upside down triangle, you'll see at different time spot what was taught, what was the topic, and then you could watch from there or share with others. If you like these videos, please like, comment, and share to your friends and family. Teach your friends and family how to subscribe so that they can also connect to Grandmaster JinBodhi. We're a lot of people. Hello everyone.
好，今天是我们的共修第
So today
23期
is our chanting group practice part 23.
好，今天呢，我先给大家这个
First
讲
of
一个
all,
故事，
I'll tell you a story.
叫做鲸鱼的故事。
It's a story about whales.
在15年前，
It's about 15 years ago.
谢先生
There's a Mr.
，15
Shear.
年前有一位谢先生，
Mr.
他来到
Shear,
这个温哥
15
华的
years
时候
ago,
啊，
when
那
he
是
came to
15年前
Vancouver.
哈，
Think about that's 15
到
years
温哥华
ago.
的时候遇到了一位80多岁的，
When he came to
这个洋人。
Vancouver, he saw a 80-year-old
就是
Grandpa Yang,
他们在聊天闲聊过程
and
之中，
when they
他聊到了一
chat,
段奇迹。
they talked about a
这个
miracle,
奇迹是这样子，
and the
这个
miracle
故事是这样，所以有一艘
is
大洋船
about
从中国的上海
a big
上海
ship
港出发，
traveled
就是
from
要
Shanghai
这个
in China.
可能是往这个申请去这个
Maybe
金山做劳工，
They're applying to, you know, the
就是旧
passengers
金山
apply
嘛，过去也
to
简称
go
叫金山
to
啊。你在
San
那里出金子
Francisco
但那里确实是出金子，是不是啊？
to be the
温
labor
哥华
there.
也出金子，
You know, San Francisco in
所以那个时候
China, it's called
有很多的
Jingshan,
人
which
哈，
means the
就是
mountain
尤
of
其
gold.
在
Actually, they do
浙
have
江
gold, probably.
浙江人不多，其实是那个广东
You know, many people
广东人
in China
广
at
东
that
开
time,
平人
mostly
比较
from
多。
Guangdong
哎，
and Kaiping.
那这艘大船呢，载着很多中国的劳工，
So this
哎，就是往
big
这个美国
vessel
旧金山
has a
这个
lot
方
of
向走。
passengers who are from Guangdong, Kaiping to go to
那么
San
他们
Francisco.
这个加拿大和中国之间的这个大海哈，
You
这叫
know,
太平洋，其实很大的
Pacific
太平洋。
Ocean is between
那么他们
China
快走
and
到了这个加拿
Canada
大的
and the United
这个
States,
时候，因
North
为加拿
America,
大
I
挨着
mean,
美国，
because
哎，
Canada
这个
is
突
very
然间
close to the United
这个
States.
海
All
上
of a
的这个
sudden,
天气哈，突然间变了，
the weather
应该
changed.
现在来说就是可能起了那种大台风，超级
Probably
大台风。
there were just the
哦，真是
hurricane
那个整个是滔天的巨浪，
and
弄得
typhoon,
这艘船
and
呐
the wave was
就不显得
huge.
大了，
And
就
so
随时就会倾
this
倒，随
big
时
vessel
就可能会翻船。
was, well,
所以
seems
把
to
这
be
个
tiny
这
now.
个
It's
坐在船
almost
里的人
going
呢
to
都快吓死
fall
了。哦，
at any
所以
time.
都几
And
十米
people
高的
on
那个
the
大海浪，
on the ship was
哎，
frightened
大家都
because
吓
the
得就是
waves are
又
like
害怕，
um,
而且呢又巨
many,
又
many
非常强烈的
meters
晕
high,
船，
about maybe
呕
dozens
吐
of meters
啊，所以
high,
那会
and a
身
lot
体
of
不舒服的人
passengers
啊，可
felt
是难
very
受死了。
uneasy because of the,
大家
you know,
非
the
常的危急，
turbulence,
真的不
and
知所
so
措。
they were
你说照海又
vomiting
不行，那么
and
大的风，
very uncomfortable, and they didn't know
对
what
吧？
to
也
do.
不
They
照海的这
couldn't
个
jump
船
into
呢，
the
随时就
ocean.
要翻。
But if they don't jump, because
哎，
the
那
it
在
it
这个
looks
时
like
候
the
呢，
ship is going
在这
to
个
to fall.
他们发现一位女人
And
啊，因为上头拉的都是中国人，
at that time,
一位女人
you know, all
哎
all the passengers
这
are
个何
Chinese.
时
There was a
向这个
lady
天
at
空
the
哈
time.
诵念，因
They
为到
noticed
到
that
临
this
危的时
lady
候了，
was
面临危
putting
难的
her
时候，
palms
就
together
高声的诵念，
at
南无
this
观世
great
音菩萨。
time. Well, at
南
this
无观
time
世
of
音菩萨。
danger, she
啊，
was
这高声
chanting
的诵
very
念，救
loudly
命的时候没有
to
那么文雅的，
JinBodhi
对不
Sattva.
对？都是要那
She
这个
was
船随时就
praying
倾翻
for
了。
for
哎，
for
念了一会
saving
儿之
her
后，
life. She's
哎，
not that graceful, but
这个
chanting
不可
really
思议的
loud.
事情就发生了。
But after a
在
while
这个
of the
海面，
chanting,
他们就看到这海
something
面
incredible
旁边呢，就是
happened.
它这个船的侧面，
On the
就是左右的
side
侧面，
of the
就
ship,
是这个左面的出
say
了
for
出现了一
example
条
on the
这个
left,
黑色的
there was a
超级长的大
black,
鲸鱼，
huge
就这个鲸鱼
whale
长的比
appeared.
这个船还长。
And this whale
右
is
边
so
出现一条
big
白色
and
的大鲸
long,
鱼，这个鲸鱼
longer
比
than the
船还
ship.
长。
And on the right side, there's a
现在我们
white
都没有
whale,
想到，
and
没
it's
见过这
also
么大的鲸鱼
longer
哈。
than the
我
ship.
见的鲸鱼呢，
Well,
就最
we
多
probably
可
have
能就
never
有
seen
10
such
来
a
米长，像那
huge
个卡
whale.
车那么长的。
Usually,
我在美国见到
um,
啊，还是在
well,
在那个
before
海
I
洋
saw
动
a
物园的
whale,
那种地
it's in the
做表演用。
I saw it's like
在
maybe
这
more than
通常
10
我们在海
meters
面上
long
看到的
when
那
I
个
was
鲸
in the
鱼
United
好像不是
States.
那么大。
In the aquarium,
所
I
以这
saw
个
such a whale.
两条
So
大鲸
usually
鱼
the
哈，
whales
超
that
级
we
大鲸鱼，
see
其实
are
它
not
们
so long,
帮着
but these
挡了
huge whales
这个
actually
吹打过来的那个
helped
巨浪，
to
就
protect
挡
the
住了这
ship
个船，
and
就保
from
护这
from
个
the big
船不会倾
waves,
斜
so that
啊，不会
the
出大
ship
问题。
is not
哦，
going to
那
lean
非常可怕。
or
所
fall.
以当有了这个现象之后，
And
那个
so
船长也是
then
相
the
当有经验，
captain was
他是最
very
紧张。
experienced. He was very nervous before. He didn't know why it happened. But anyways, these two wells were protecting them. And so he rushed to run the ship all the way to the Victoria Harbor. And, you know, Victoria, that's the Vancouver Island, right? Vancouver Island is, you know, right at the side of Pacific Ocean. And so because of those islands, the big waves would reduce and weaken the waves when they are hitting Vancouver. And therefore, the big ship with the protection of the two wells, this big ship, all the passengers, their lives were saved, and they safely arrived Victoria Harbor. And so this Mr. Xie, after heard this miracle from Grandpa Yang, and he thought, oh, I think I have seen this story before. So because he was living in Hong Kong before, and he saw there's a Taipei Daily, the newspaper. They actually have that story printed on the newspaper, and then they cut the newspaper, and they kept the newspaper. And that story was printed on the newspaper in 1920s. And when he came to Vancouver and he saw this Mr. Yang, Grandpa Yang, actually this Grandpa Yang was one of the passengers on that vessel. Maybe this Mr. Yang, Grandpa Yang, has already passed away, but he was one of the passengers there. At that time, there were lots of people coming from China to come to North America to work in the construction or go to the golden mines to be laborers. And he thought, wow, this is amazing. Before, he saw the news, and now he even met the passenger here. And when I heard this, I also felt quite amazing. Such a huge well. Well, with our human eyes, we probably have never seen such a well. Well, Zhezhen, have you brought some stories here? Oh, thank you, Grandmaster. When I hear this story, it's really amazing. I've never seen such a big well, but after we prayed to Guanyin Bodhisattva, it's probably sent by Guanyin Bodhisattva to protect the passengers there. Yeah, just big enough to protect the vessel. I'm going to tell a story also about something happened on the ocean. It's about August or September in 2005. At that time, actually, I was already immigrated to Vancouver. I listened to the news and I heard that there was a Hurricane Katrina. And it affected most of the southern states of the United States, Mississippi, very close to the Mexican Strait. And it was a huge hurricane that hasn't happened in 100 years. And what was hurt or damaged most was New Orleans. And this is what River Mississippi entering the ocean. And so when hurricane comes, the river will go back to the city. And so the whole city is like soaked in water. I remember on the highway, there were all the long lines of cars. They were trying to go out of the city. So the government stopped one direction and just not allowing people to come into the city and just letting all the people to go away from New Orleans. So those people who probably don't want to go or it's not convenient for them to go, they stayed in New Orleans. And so among them, there's a retired veteran. When he was in the army, he went to Asia and Vietnam and Japan. And so when he was in Vietnam and Japan, he saw those monks would chant in the morning and evening, including, different mantras and the chapter of the Universal Gate, and also chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva. And so he still remembered those, and he also felt connected. And so when he came back to New Orleans, he had two marriages that end up divorcing, and so he was the only one left. His children grew up and left him, and so he bought a boat. In North America, a lot of people are like this. They buy a boat, and that the boat would become their home. And yeah, in North America, some people will have a RV to become their home, or maybe a boat. So for this person, the boat is his home. And so when the huge hurricane happened, it was terrible. On the daytime, he can still maybe hide on the shore, but at night he went to the boat. He couldn't even sleep. And one night, the wave was so high and terrible, and he was like, he was quite horrified in such a jolting. And then the wave put his boat upside down, but he couldn't get out. And he was under the water. And then he thought, oh no, maybe I'll have to die here. And at that time, he was about to die. And so all his life is like a movie playing in his mind. And when the movie comes to when he was in Asia, he heard those monks were chanting to Guanyin Bodhisattva. Oh, all of a sudden, he was inspired and to chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva. And so he has never chanted so sincerely before, because it's like right in front of this life-threatening danger. And so he doesn't care about what's happening outside. Because the wind was fierce and it was shaking, and so he was just chanting and chanting and chanting. And all of a sudden there was another wave coming, and he almost fainted. And when he woke up, he thought, oh, he didn't die, and the boat was now upright again, and he was sitting inside the boat, and so it's all well now. And so after the Katrina hurricane passed, he went to a Guanyin temple to express his gratitude to Guanyin Bodhisattva. And then he told the story. Wow, that's a wonderful story. Wonderful. Oh, our young girl, Yueji, what story did you bring? Oh, just now you mentioned Guanyin Bodhisattva helped somebody and saved his life. I'm going to share a story about Guanyin Bodhisattva saved somebody who got drowned. And so this is Xiao Wang, is a university student and in Changchun Medical University in northeast of China. And so before summer, one year, it's right before summer, they're just about to go home. And so they walked along, a river beside their school. All the students there, they know that there are actually lots of fish. But the fish are afraid of human beings. And so they usually, whenever whenever anyone approaches the fish will swim away. And the river is about 3 meters deep and 50 meters wide. It's a pretty big river. And on the side of the river, there's a slope about 45 degrees. And so that day, Xiao Wang was walking along the river, and all of a sudden, they saw about 1 meter from the shore, there was a 40-centimeter long fish, pretty a pretty fish and was staying there, not moving at all. And when Xiao Wang approached the fish didn't move. And so all the students get very interesting. Oh, how come this fish is not afraid of human beings? And usually fish are afraid of people, and so they will swim away. But this fish still stayed there and floating on the water. And Xiao Wang was also interested, and therefore he wanted to approach closer and see if the fish would move. And so he moved along that slope and moved forward. And he was, playing with the fish and say, "Oh, come, fish." But while he was approaching the fish and saying, "Come," and then the fish really come and swim towards him. And then Xiao Wang said, "Oh, the fish is even closer to me. If I reach out, I can catch the fish." And so he reached out his arm and wanting to catch the fish. But when he reached out, he wasn't able to stand steadily. So he slipped into the river. But Xiao Wang didn't know how to swim. But the river was very deep. And therefore, when he fell into the river, he completely disappeared into the water. He was trying to struggle, but the more he struggles, the more water coming to his mouth, and so he was just sinking. And so, of course, Xiao Wang was very horrified, and so he was like, "Oh, am I going to sink here?" And when he wants his classmates to save him, it's actually impossible because all his friends, none of them know how to swim. Also, even if they can swim, because of the slope is very slippery. If they come, even if they want to pull him up, the slope is very hard. And so Xiao Wang was almost in despair. Maybe everyone before death, they would go through their whole life. And so he recorded that his parents brought him up. It wasn't easy. And he thought, oh, he was the only child of the family. And if he dies, his parents won't be able to survive. And so he thought about that. And all of a sudden, he also thought, his family, they believe in Buddhas and Bodhisattva, and so he suddenly remembered Guanyin Bodhisattva, and so he became very, very sincere. He was already sinking under the water, and he wanted to chant loudly, and when he loudly opened his mouth, and when he opened his mouth, the water comes into the mouth, so he couldn't make any voice, and so he can only chant in his heart. He can only chant, "Guanyin Bodhisattva, Guanyin Bodhisattva, save me, save me." And miracles truly happened while he was chanting silently in his heart. Before he was sinking, but all of a sudden, he felt there was a force kind of holding him up and floating up to the surface of the water. And while he was about to reach the surface of the water, and so he reached his head out of the surface of the water. And this Xiao Wang is very, very seriously nearsighted, like 600 degrees, his glasses, and his glasses also fell to the water because he's so nearsighted, and his glasses fell off. But he was able to see in front of him there was a branch coming towards him, and he was able to get hold of that branch, and then his classmates was able to also hold the other end of the branch, and eventually brought him to the shore, and finally he was saved from such a disaster. And when his classmates took him back to his dormitory, when Xiao Wang was, washing his face and about to sleep, but because he had too much water in his stomach, his head was extremely painful, and he was very, very uncomfortable and wanting to vomit. When he was about to lie down, in his mind, there was all these process, how he struggled under the water. And so many times he was trying to sleep, but he couldn't sleep. And this picture of struggling always come to his mind. It's like a dream, and he couldn't avoid it. And therefore, he thought about Guanyin Bodhisattva again. And so he sit up and starting to chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva and pray for Guanyin Bodhisattva to bless him. And only within 10 minutes, he felt much better, and he felt sleepy now, and he lie down to sleep all the way until the next day. And when he woke up, he felt it's almost like he felt very well and very comfortable, as if nothing happened. So through this experience, Xiao Wang truly developed a lot of gratitude towards Guanyin Bodhisattva. He knows that it's Guanyin Bodhisattva who protected him so that he can avoid such a disaster. I'm very happy that Xiao Wang was protected by Guanyin Bodhisattva. Oh, Joyce, share another story with us, okay? Okay. Well, there's a book about all the miracles relating to Guanyin Bodhisattva. And there's a story in the book at the end of the Ming Dynasty and the beginning of Qing Dynasty. The Qing soldiers about to come to Yangzhou in Jiangsu province. And there was a merchant. His name is Cheng Boling. He was very respectful to Guanyin Bodhisattva and very always sincerely chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva, because there are many wars and battles, and in order to protect his whole family, he always very sincerely prayed to Guanyin Bodhisattva, please, Guanyin Bodhisattva, protect my whole family, and very, very sincerely. And one night, when he was sleeping in a dream, he dreamed of Guanyin Bodhisattva, and Guanyin Bodhisattva said, your family, you have 17 people. The soldiers, when they come, the other 16 are fine. They can avoid the disaster, but only you're going to die this time because of your predestined karma. And then Cheng Boling thought, oh, he was very sad, and so he prayed for Guanyin Bodhisattva to teach him, is there any way that can save me? Please, guide me, please. Teach me. I can do anything you say. And then when he slept, he had another dream, and Guanyin Bodhisattva came to tell him. Guanyin Bodhisattva said, well, I'll tell you why all those 16, they can avoid this disaster, but you cannot. It was because in the past, you actually chopped 26 times on Wang Mazi. And therefore, the soldiers this time, including this Wang Mazi, he's coming to revenge. In order for you not to involve your family members, you should let all 16 other people go to other rooms on the east side, and you should stay in the middle room and wait for them. And because Cheng Boling believes in cause and consequence, so he actually accepted the consequence, and he sent all the family members to the east side of the house, and then in the other rooms, and he stayed in the middle room. And the Qing soldiers actually fight for 5 days, and the Yangzhou. The general was Shi Kefa, very, very famous general. But after 5 days, they couldn't protect the city anymore. The Qing soldiers came inside Yangzhou city. And so that day, there were, those soldiers were knocking at the door on Chen Boling's house. And Chen Boling was not afraid, and she said, don't knock at the door anymore. Is there anyone whose name is Wang Mas? If so, come in. And then, so somebody coming and said, I'm Wang Mas. How did you know my name? And Chen Boling said, because I was very sincere and respect Guanyin Bodhisattva. And in this war, I asked Guanyin Bodhisattva to protect me, and Guanyin Bodhisattva told me that actually in my previous life, I chopped you 26 times, and you're coming to revenge, and I need to pay the debt, so you can just cut me 26 times. And then this Wang Mazi, after hearing this, he heard, oh, Guanyin Bodhisattva told you this cause and consequence. And so, okay, your previous life, you chopped me 26 times. And if I chop you 26 times this life, then next life, you will chop me 26 times. So then 26 and 26, so when can it end? And therefore, immediately, Wang Mazi suddenly awakened, and all of a sudden, he wanted to forgive, and so he he raised his knife, but he didn't use the sharp edge of the knife, but the back of the knife to hit. To beat the Chen Boling, and so he didn't kill Chen Boling and allowed the whole family to leave Yangzhou to a safe place. So this is the story. Wow, this is a good story. I really like the story. I like the result. If you're always a revenge, then when would be the result? When would be the end? And Wang Mazi actually awakened, and I really hope that if I owe someone, then I should just pay back. And if, in the future, if you meet someone, oh, is there any Wang Mazi here? Come and chop me 26 times. Usually, if Wang Mazi in the next life, his name is still Wang Mazi. That's very rare. Okay, so our Yueji, do you still have another story? Oh, I have another story about sending medicines in a dream. Oh, the microphone. Okay, can you? I'd like to share another story about sending medicine in a dream. It happened in Taiwan, in Taichung. There was a family, Mr. Cheng, and the wife is A Jiao, Ling A Jiao, and A Jiao was very weak and always sick the whole year round, and they have a young son, and the son's name is Zheng Zhong. It's 8 years old, very, very lovely son. Even though he was only 8 years old, but he is very, very respectful and kind, and when he saw that his mother was very sick, then he would always help to serve the medicine to his mother and serve his mother, always serve by the bedside of his mother. And so one day there's a friend who came to visit them, and this is a Buddhist friend. And so when this friend came to see A Jiao and was seriously sick, and it's almost like he is so seriously sick that it doesn't seem to have any cure, and he saw that this little son is even crying when he is by his mother's bedside. And so this friend felt very very sad and doesn't want this to continue. And so he said, oh, well, A Jiao, I think that because you're so sick, do you want to chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva and pray for his blessings and protection so that you can get well sooner? And A Jiao, before she she has never chanted before, and he didn't know much about chanting. When she was lying on the bed, she was very uncomfortable, and so she very, in a very low voice, she said, "Oh, I don't know how to chant." And then this friend said, "Oh, if you don't know how to chant, that's okay. Even if you don't chant, if your son can chant, it would still be effective." And this little son is very, very good. And so this friend taught this little son to chant, put his hands together and chant Namo Guanxin Bodhisattva. And so this little son is very smart and only learned a few times he was able to chant. And so the friend said, just chant more in front of Guanyin Bodhisattva and chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva. Then your mother will get well soon. And so this little son, Zhen Zhong, truly believed this, and that friend also helped them to invite a picture of Guanyin Bodhisattva and frame the picture to put on the mother's bedroom and hang it on the mother's bedroom wall. And so this little son, in order for his mother to get well sooner, you can always see him chanting towards Guanyin Bodhisattva's picture. Every day he's chanting silently to Guanyin Bodhisattva. And then about a week later, one morning, this young little son was very happy in coming to mother's bedroom and said, "Oh, Mom, last night I had a very good dream. I want to tell you." He said, in the dream, there was a lady in white dress and gave you a bunch of, medicine. It's about the same length of the Chinese chive. And I saw in the dream that you took the medicine, the herb, and took it. And then that lady in white dress said she's Guanyin Bodhisattva, and she said, as soon as your mother take the herb medicine, then she'll be well very soon. And so the little son was very happy that the mother will get well very soon. And then the mother was very surprised, and he said, and she said, "Oh, my son, I also had a dream. It's also a lady in white dress, and she gave me the herbal medicine, and I did took the medicine and chewed the medicine and swallowed it. And this morning, I really felt like refreshed and light like never before." And after that, her mother really get better and better and eventually get well. And so they're very, very grateful for the blessings and protections of Guanxin Bodhisattva. And this little son is very, very good, because Guanyin Bodhisattva protected and helped his mother to get well. So this little boy had a very deep connection with Guanyin Bodhisattva. Every morning before he go to school, he would put his palm together in front of Guanyin Bodhisattva and say, "Oh, Guanyin Bodhisattva, I'm going to school now." And then he would go to school. And after he came back from school, the first thing he will go to Guanyin Bodhisattva's picture and put palms together and say, "Oh, Guanyin Bodhisattva, I'm back now from school." And so he would always report to Guanyin Bodhisattva and connect to Guanyin Bodhisattva. "Oh, this is really good." So this Zhen Zhong, this little son, is really very filial and very smart, and has a very and very kind and compassionate. He chant for his mother to pray for Guanyin Guanyin Bodhisattva to help and protect his mother. And eventually, Guanyin Bodhisattva gave them a dream for both the mother and the son and sent that medicine to the mother, and his mother truly get well. And so there are 2 points that is very touching. That first, Guanyin Bodhisattva really want to help us, and secondly is this little son is really, filial and respectful for mothers. And so if you pray and chant for your family, then it will really be effective. I'm going to share another story about Mr. Yang in Shenyang, in northeast of China. This is one of the biggest city in northeast China, and I think it's in 1960s, and Mr. Yang had his neck was very, very painful, and it was so painful that he had to go to see a doctor. And so the doctor said, this is a tumor, so he needs to about the spine. It's a tumor on the spine, and it's actually growing at the back of the neck, from the cervical spine until the lumbar, the whole spine. If there will be any any problem, if they need any surgery, it's very dangerous because all the nerves are there are lots of nerves along the spine. It's very dangerous if they need to do any surgery. Very likely they could have, disability, or they could even die. But if they don't do the surgery, then he could also, his limbs may also be out of order. And it's also very dangerous. And so one day, there's a friend, who's a Buddhist, came to visit them. And so when he came, he said, "Oh, do you want to try chanting?" And so he helped Mr. Liu to get a picture of Guanyin Bodhisattva. I don't know how many times, maybe thousands of times, or maybe millions of times. And so they would chant every day. After they chant, he started to be calmer and calmer. And also the pain from the neck, from the tumor, also reduced. And when these changes started to happen, this Mr. Liu started to have more and more faith in Guanyin Bodhisattva. With the help of his friend, Mr. Liu also got some Buddhist sutras, and he started to read these scriptures. And well, during this time, his disease was still developing, and actually developed very quickly. It was getting more and more serious. Even though he was chanting chanting a lot, but it was already almost dying. But even if you chant, it would help to reduce some pain, but it's still not enough. And so he went to see the doctor again, and then 2 doctors told him, he said, according to our experience, well, I have to tell you the truth, maybe you can only live another 2-3 months because it's already the last part of your life. And when he heard this, it's very, disappointing. And I'm sure he must be very sad and desperate. And so he knelt down in front of Guanyin Bodhisattva. He said, "Oh, Guanyin Bodhisattva, if my life is truly approaching the end, then please guide me to the Pure Land. If it's not the case, then please send a good doctor to do a surgery for me so that I can get well. If I can get well, I will practice and cultivate every day. I will chant every day, and I will always help others, and I will never kill. I want to spread dharmas and spread compassion. And so he said that at the when he was so desperate. He said that to Guanyin Bodhisattva, and when he was sleeping, he vaguely hear a voice. You'll be cured, definitely. But Mr. Liu felt the voice is coming from Guanyin Bodhisattva. About a week later, his old friend who lives in Beijing phoned him and introduced a very famous doctor in Beijing who is a specialist in curing and doing the surgery for this kind of disease. And because there are so many patients, and then you have to be exceptionally fortunate. And so, he's a specialist. There are too many patients who want to call him, and so he never pick up any calls. But the patients are very anxious. There are just hundreds of people every day trying to come and see him, and he's so busy. But Mr. Liu was just so fortunate. After he prayed to Guanyin Bodhisattva, and the next day, he said, I'll just give it a try to phone this specialist. And he dialed the number. And this specialist picked the phone. And so he told the specialist about his disease. And very smoothly, this specialist agreed to help him and do the surgery for him. Very quickly, they arranged the surgery. In 2 hours, everything was smooth. No side effects, nothing bad happened. But 2 months before his surgery, another lady, very young lady who had the same kind of disease, also had the surgery by the same specialist. But that lady only survived for 2-3 months. So this disease is very dangerous. Even a specialist, any kind of surgery, the hospital will always ask, the family member to sign a waiver. If you do the surgery here, whatever happens, we're free from any responsibilities. And then they will agree to do the surgery. But this Mr. Liu was very well after the surgery. And so after 10 years, he was still healthy and strong. And every day he would lead a group of people to chant Guanyin Bodhisattva and tell everybody about his own story. And his story really inspired many other patients and brought hope to many other people, even cancer patients. And so Guanyin Bodhisattva, who saved many people's life. I'm sure these stories are like limitless. Many people have heard a big number of these stories. So this is a story that I'm going to share with you. Do you have any other stories? Oh, our online friends are also sharing stories how they were saved by Guanyin Bodhisattva. When we were talking about this Xiao Wang who fall into the water, and then his classmate sent that branch and saved him to the shore. And so there's an online friend who's Song De, and said, "Oh, thank you, Master and teachers sharing. Before I know a brother, when he was a soldier and he fell into a big hole and he was sinking all the way down, and he thought that he would die there. But his family also believed in Buddha, and he was very, very sincere. And he said he has never been so sincere, and therefore he chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva very, very sincerely and pray for Guanyin Bodhisattva to save him. After a little while, when his hand reached out, he suddenly touched a big trunk, very big trunk. And he was able to hold the trunk and climb up. And so he was very, very happy that Guanyin Bodhisattva saved his life. So see, there are so many stories about Guanyin Bodhisattva saved their lives. And this Lily Peng also shared a story. "Oh, Grandmaster, my friend's mother was also blessed by Guanyin. After delivery, she became very ill. One night, she dreamed of Guanyin. She splashed water to her body. Then, next morning, she became well." Wow, that's great. And another Di Leng Tio, he said, "Oh, Grandmaster, about 20 years ago, also Guanyin Bodhisattva saved me. At that time, I'm 19 years old, and when I was riding on the bicycle, there was a car coming to me. I thought, oh, I will die. But all of a sudden, I was chanting Guanyin Bodhisattva, and I saw Guanyin Bodhisattva is holding me like holding a baby in the sky. And after that, I saw that there was only a very light scratch on my feet. I'm so grateful for most compassionate Guanyin Bodhisattva saved my life." And another De Dan sister, and De Gan, he said, I was saved by Guanyin Bodhisattva too. If it is not Guanyin Bodhisattva who saved me, otherwise my head would be seriously injured and maybe will become a vegetable. So you could imagine how dangerous it would be. Those who know De Gan all know that she's very healthy and very dedicated in helping people. Wow, so many miracles. Any other stories? Well, there are lots of stories sharing about Guanyin Bodhisattva. I also want to share another miracle. A few times ago, when Master was teaching about, in the morning, you can tell Grandmaster when you want to get up, and then they will get up at that time. So there are lots of people reporting that they get up. Like Teng He, she said, "Oh, last time." Master said, "Who wants to get up at 5?" I raised my hand, and last morning, I dreamed that somebody knocked at my window, and I opened my eyes. It was 5 a.m. sharp. Thank you, Master, for waking me up in the morning. And this friend also shared, Jennifer Tan said, "Oh, thank you, Grandmaster. I also tried to ask Grandmaster to wake me up at 6 a.m., and then I got up at 6 a.m. And Cheng Li Qing said, "Oh, Grandmaster, last time I wanted to get up at 7 a.m., and then the next morning I woke up, it was 7:02. Wow, it's so punctual. Thank you, Grandmaster. Before, my alarm was like 6:30. In order to do the experiment, I asked Grandmaster to wake me up at 6:25, and before the alarm sound, I woke up, and when I look at the clock, it was 6:25. And Jing Ruiter said, I asked Grandmaster to wake me up at 5. Usually I woke up at 5:30. But when I talked to Grandmaster, then I woke up at 4:55. Finally, I got up at 5, around 5. And Jing Huixiu said, I prayed for Master to call me at 5. And then 4:50, I woke up and get up. Wow. Thank you very much. And Jing Juxiao said, in Master's Facebook Live, I thought, oh, I need to wake up at 4 a.m. But then I woke up at 3:40. Thank you, Master. Because 4 a.m., I went up to go and walk energy Bagua. Thank you, Master, for your blessings. And Po Kun said, oh, that day I went to the screen and asked Grandmaster to call me at 5:30. And the next morning at 5:27 a.m., my eyes automatically opened. I was afraid that any ghost would come to the dream, and so I didn't dare to stay up late, and so I got up. And so thank you, Master. And Marong Jin said, before, it was very hard for me to get up. Many fellow practitioners volunteered to call me and wake me up and be my alarm clock, but they all fell. But then last time I faced the screen and talked to Master to call me at 5 a.m. And these 2 days, I got up at 4:55. And the whole day, I was very, very effective. Oh, thank you so much, Grandmaster, for your blessings and protection. Please bless me again to get up at 5 a.m. And your teachings really helped me so much. And I shared the YouTube link to my university friend. And because in that YouTube video, Master, you taught, you mentioned that if you want to get up, then you can ask me to call and wake you up. And so my university friend, she wanted to get up at 7:30. And then the next day, she sent a message to me. She said, your Grandmaster is really great. Last night, I asked Grandmaster to call me at 7:30. And even before 7:30, I don't even need an alarm. I woke up right before 7:30. I know, I still remember in the university, I had to woke her up. Now, she said, see, your Grandmaster woke him up even better than you did. And Chen Wenhua also said, oh, thank you, Grandmaster. Before, it's always the alarm will woke me up. But last time in the live feed, I asked Grandmaster to call me at 4:15. The second day, the alarm and Master woke me up at the same time. I just felt that impression of the East, or impression of the lapis lazuli, that picture suddenly appeared in my mind, and I woke up. And another friend shared, oh, I need to share with you, Master. These 2 days, I have been woken up by Grandmaster. It's really hard to wake me up and get up in the morning. These 2 mornings, I got up early. I did the Bagua aerobics and walked energy Bagua and prostration and chanting. It felt wonderful. I felt so light. And thank you. I will keep this habit. Oh, don't share anymore. There are too many. We still need to chant, right? And before the chant, I would announce that today's first prize is this snuff bottle. Do you still remember that? It's from the Qing dynasty. It has the frog and the lotus flower, and it's a very auspicious bottle that help to gather wealth. And so after the chant, we will do the prize draw. In order for you to have the opportunity of win that prize, you need to at least chant and wait until after that to see your fortune. Okay, now let's chant to Guanyin Bodhisattva.
Nam mô Quan Sư 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨， 菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世 音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世 世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无 世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南。
好，请大家搓搓手。
All right. Now rub your hands and then run your palms over your face.
下面呢，我们就开始
Next,
为网友朋友抽奖。
we're going to do the prize draw. Today we have another prize.
之前讲过的一个
I mentioned
美
before
国前总统林肯
the the previous U.S. President Lincoln. This is a 3-cent stamp. I found it and now it's enlarged to this size. This is the stamp, a used stamp, and
也把今天
so,
这张把它复制
so I've already enlarged the stamp, and this copy can be a prize for you too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll have 5 prizes.
决定注意喊停哈
So Joyce, yours say stop. Okay, let's start. Stop.
是谁呀？
Who is that?
看看谁这么幸运。
Who's that?
弯歪坑
One Wai Kun. Oh,
弯歪坑
好，恭喜恭喜！
好我们照下来了哈
congratulations. We take the picture. Okay, let's find another one. We have 5 of them who are going to get the prize. So Wai Wei Kun
这个小的
is going to have this furba. So wish you everything will be smooth and obstacles removed. So let's start.
抓，看看抓到谁呢？
So let's see who's going to stop. 金如报，
到
金如报。
好金如报
So 金如报 congratulations.
是这个大金刚杵事事如意哈万事吉祥
Okay, everything will be smooth. This Vajna pestle. So wooden handcrafted
英文平台
Vajna pestle. So now the English channel,
是这件新的
the prize is this brand new Energy Bagua t-shirt. Let's start.
抓到最幸运的英文网友。
Oh, who's going to be that most fortunate English speaker? Esther
这个绿头的
Esther Teal.
S 对
好，恭喜！
All right, congratulations.
啊
This is a Korean channel. Let's see which Korean friend would be the most fortunate. Stop here. This purple one. Do you know how to read? You don't know how to read. Anyways, we know this person, huh? Okay, congratulations. Your prize is this this quick dry T-shirt, Energy Bagua quick dry T-shirt. Now, the next prize is this stamp with Lincoln's picture. So let's come to the Chinese channel. It didn't frame that well. Okay, now let's start. Which Chinese friend will get this fortunate stamp? Do you know? Oh, stop. It brings you all those, theories and teachings from the story that Master taught about President Lincoln. 金善特. Congratulations. And so he will have this President Lincoln's stamp from 1920s. We enlarged it. Okay. This is a used stamp, a real stamp. Oh, it's a very unique prize. Thank you, Grandmaster. Now the next one is a snuff bottle from the Qing Dynasty. Okay, still the Chinese YouTube channel. Chinese YouTube channel. Okay. So this lotus flower and the frog. You have. Okay, stop here. Oh, it's the same person. Oh no, it needs to be a different person. Okay. This nut bottle, it has the symbolizes. This one. 金子林. Oh.
金子林。
太恭喜了。
好，金子林啊，好。
Okay.
网友金子林
So our online friend Jin Ziling will win the prize of this very pretty and very auspicious, the lotus flower with the frog there symbolizing you have continuous children or offspring. Very, very lucky. I have some collections. If I think it's very good, I will share with you. Oh, Grandmaster, I'd like to share with you some of our online friends. They are still, they are very happy to purchase this Bodhi in boyhood, this painting, and also the vision of the Eastern Paradise. Xing sister shared after she purchased this. She saw other people got this vision of the Eastern Paradise, and she felt it's very, auspicious. For 2 years, she couldn't find a house to buy, and she was afraid that after she, if she purchased any painting, she couldn't find a place for the painting. But this time, she thinks, oh, if I can find a house to buy, then I will be able to purchase this painting, Vision of the Eastern Paradise. And after she said that, only in 2 days, she was able to find a very good house. And so she, and she also received the purchased painting. In 2 years, she went to see all kinds of houses. You know, some of them are leaking, some of them windows broken, like all kinds of strange houses. But only in 48 hours, she was able to find the right house. And even the purchasing price is much lower than the listing price. And so she was able to move to the new house with this painting. So auspicious, so fortunate. And this painting, Bodhi in Boyhood, and Jemmo's sister from Malaysia wanted to share her story because it's a limited edition. And so she thought, oh, maybe she won't be able to be the lucky one who can purchase this painting. And but teacher Zhiguang said every center they will be able to purchase Grandmaster's painting. She was very excited and wanted to invite the painting home. And on the 24th, that exact day when she paid to CiBeiYin website, miracle happened. 6 years ago, she purchased a house with her siblings. And this house has been rented for once, but it was 5 years ago. For 4 years, they couldn't find any tenant. And every month, they still have to pay the mortgage, though. So it was very, very hard. But when she paid for that painting, right on the exact date, she received a phone call. The agent said that someone wants to rent the house, and they're going to pay like all in once, all the rent. It's just such a miracle. And even before the paint come to arrive, they already received the auspiciousness. And Rui Huan was very touched. She said, last time casual live broadcast, it was the live feed was very casual, but a lot of people were so enthusiastic to purchase this painting. Everybody was full of joy and proud, and they're full of joy in their heart. It was this Bodhi in Boyhood is really, touching everyone. We're touched by Grandmaster. This Dharma wasn't got so easily, and Master offer like selflessly to everyone this very precious Dharma, this precious meditation skill. And we're touched by Grandmaster's compassionate love and all these compassionate teachings. We're so touched that Grandmaster is like our most compassionate father that is supporting our Bodhi family. Whenever we're floating, we couldn't find a home, here is the home. Bodhi is our home, and we're not lost anymore. Every time we can feel our heart connecting to Grandmaster. We're so grateful and so touched. And thank you so much. Well, this painting, because you all saw how this painting was painted, I myself was also touched. I hope that this painting will bring you the most auspicious blessings. If the painting is a little bigger, then it will seem even better, and the energy will be even grander. And a disciple asked a Grandmaster, because they need to frame it, how can this painting seem more auspicious? Yeah. So these are some of the some of the way how you can put them. This is like a living room where you can put the framed painting. Usually, people would use a golden frame. This frame is a very wide frame. It actually shows the painting more dignifying and beautiful, and the energy too. This frame, first of all, will protect the painting, and secondly, would also decorate the painting. So it protects the painting, and at the same time, it also helps to make this painting even more beautiful. I kind of feel this golden color matches this paint and make it even more beautiful. And if there's a little lighter color in between the bigger frame, you see, this is a little darker, living room, and with this painting, it looks that good. Thank you, Grandmaster. If you can invite this painting home, if you can, worship and offer, well, if you can hang it on the wall in your room, just thinking about it makes us feel so good and so auspicious. So our next live feed will be next Wednesday, same time. We'll see you again. Wish you everybody auspiciousness and wish fulfilling, live long life, and everything will be smooth, and wishes will be fulfilled, and always happy. See you next Wednesday. Thank you.
小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里。人生变得神奇，我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了，因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧无虑，因为有了你。不再有哭泣，不再有 定的真理，修行的意义。因为有了你，日子犹如彩虹般，彩虹般美丽。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我快乐了，我美丽了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神